The iPhone 15 Plus. This is it. This is the phone that I think is a true upgrade. Now recently, I decided to retire my Galaxy S23 for a bit and truly go all in with the iPhone 15 Plus, and so far, I've been nothing but impressed. It has an amazingly big and vibrant display, it has USB-C, and it has a 48 megapixel main camera that gave me the exact same results as the Pro series. And the only thing that I don't like about it is the fact that it has a 60 Hz refresh rate, but if I'm being honest, most people, and even I, don't mind it, since the average person doesn't really think that it's a make or break feature. This phone feels exactly like the iPhone 15 Pro Max, with the only difference being the telephoto camera, which most people don't even use. So in this video, I'll be sharing my experience with the iPhone 15 Plus and giving my honest thoughts since I switched to it. Now starting with design, the iPhone 15 Plus has changed the front of the iPhone with the dynamic island notch. They also added a USB-C port and changed it back to a matte feel, and all of these things added makes it feel like a solid upgrade from the iPhone 14 Plus. I really wish that they added a 90 Hz refresh rate, but it is what it is. The big frame mixed with the small bezels really makes the display feel even bigger. And besides the improvements that they made, this phone looks the exact same as the iPhone 14 Pro Max, from the power button, volume rockers and mute switch, all the way down to the speakers, back, with the only difference being the USB-C port. And now looking at this color, the version that I have is green, and this is one of my favorite colors on the iPhone 15 series. It has the matte green sides along with a light green matte feeling back that gives it that right amount of depth and results in a really good looking device. And now looking at the display, the iPhone 15 Plus has a 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR display that, just like the iPhone 15 Pro Max, was very good and had a nice size. Whenever I was scrolling through my phone, it looked very nice, everything looked good, and the responsiveness was very precise. And I really had no complaints about the overall feel. The dynamic island not only made the display feel new, but it also gave the iPhone 15 Plus a nice aesthetic, which made it look very premium. Also, whenever I was scrolling through certain apps, it felt a little laggy, and you can tell the frame rate drop as soon as you started to go through the app, and this only happened when I went through apps like Quora or Eventbrite. But besides that, the bezels are pretty small. Right here, you can see that they're wrapped nicely around the screen and are very clean, and the viewing experience is just like the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And now when it comes to brightness, the iPhone 15 Plus is more identical to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Both are at 2000 nits peak brightness, which means that whenever you're outside, you'll be able to see the display since it's very bright. And now when it comes to the size of the 15 Plus, I can't tell you whether or not you will love it or hate it, but I do want to list some pros and cons that you can look out for. Now, the pros of having a bigger screen is that the battery is bigger, so you will get more battery life, and the viewing experience is amazing when watching videos and scrolling through social media. And the only con is that it is bigger, so it might be harder to store in your pockets, but I feel like most people have gotten pretty used to big phones by now. Now, another problem that I had with the display was the fact that Apple still hasn't added a fingerprint sensor. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that the iPhone has the best facial recognition in the game with Face ID, but it still would have been nice to have that extra function when unlocking my phone. The resolution and viewing experience on the 15 Plus is an amazing benefit when it comes to the display. I was able to see everything very clearly when watching videos, and playing games on it was as fun as ever. Now, the 15 Plus has a 4300 mAh battery that is the exact same as the iPhone 15 Pro Max and was easily able to last me all day with no problem, even with moderate use. And mind you, I'm the type of person that is usually on my phone all day doing things like writing scripts, planning B-roll, shooting videos, scrolling through social media, watching YouTube videos, and texting my friends. And I'm usually getting over 7 hours of screen time a day, and I only charge my phone when I'm sleeping. I also was using my 15 Plus on power saving mode, but most of the time I did use it to the max, and it still was able to perform very well. So if you do get the 15 Plus, battery won't be an issue. And if I could give you guys a quick estimate, I would say that my battery is usually on 20% by the end of the day, which is really good and very comparable to the 15 Pro Max. Now, the last thing that I wanted to touch on when it came to the battery was the charging. And if I'm being honest, the charging isn't that great in terms of speed. It would take me well over an hour to get to 100%. But just like I said before, most of the time you'll only need one charge, so I think that the long-lasting battery is a great trade-off. And now looking at software, iOS 17 is holding up very well so far. I'm not getting any lags, and it's been very stable every time I use it. But based on my day-to-day experience, it does come with very nice features, but if I'm being honest, most of them you really have to go out your way to use, and I don't really care to use them. And again, I think that this phone feels exactly like the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and the only difference is that one has smoother scrolling. I also decided to test out some games on the 15 Plus. I play Asphalt 9, which is a game that can really test out the chip, and as you can see, it held up very well, and I didn't get any lags while playing. And now the final thing that I wanted to note was that the 15 Plus will be getting 5 to 6 years worth of software upgrades, so when it comes to longevity, it's definitely got you covered. And now, just like most iPhones, the 15 Plus has some really loud speakers that were pretty good whenever I used them. I would usually use them in the house whenever watching videos on social media or YouTube, and I didn't have to turn it all the way up because of how loud they were on the lower tiers of volume. I tested out how they sounded when playing music, and just like most iPhones, even if you turn it all the way up, the quality doesn't deteriorate. And right here, I'm going to give you guys an idea of how the speakers sound.
Guard screen, and that way Kobe Kobe gets a smaller player on him. Stripped by Bryant, taken by D'Angelo. Kobe steps back for a long two. That's a long two for Kobe.
Now, the iPhone 15 Plus has a 48 megapixel main camera, along with a 12 megapixel front and 12 megapixel ultra wide. And based on my usage over the past week, I would say that the pictures still look amazing. Now, starting with zoom modes, the 15 Plus has a couple of different zoom modes. And of course, the quality gets dumbed down a bit once you go into ultra wide, but I found all of the zoom modes to be great when compared to other smartphones. The shutter speed was very good from the start. I decided to test this out by shooting moving cars. And as you can see right here, the camera was able to capture most cars beautifully, no matter how fast they were going. So I was pretty satisfied. And now next up, I want to show you guys how the camera performed in different environments, and the first environment that I will be starting with is daytime. Now, looking at the outside photos, we can see that they have a really great shadow of depth whenever I'm taking pictures of myself along with a nice blur, and this is scaled all the way up once I use portrait mode that Apple has always been pretty good at. I also took some photos of random street objects, the sky, and different aspects of nature, and I can honestly say that the 15 Plus held up very well in these environments, and I'm very impressed. Taking a look at inside photos, the 15 Plus was able to capture everything very nice, and the best part is, it didn't matter if I was getting good lighting or not. Even when taking selfies, you can see how the camera handles already good lighting to produce an overall nicely taken photo. My skin tone looked really good, and the sharpness was top notch. And now when it comes to video, the 15 Plus is easily the best phone that you can buy in this price range. You have many different modes and frame rates to choose from, starting with 720p, 1080p, and goes all the way up to 4K. And personally, I like to shoot at 4K at 30 frames per second. And as you guys can see, the movements are very realistic and the resolution is really good. The video stabilization was amazing. I shoot videos with my phone, so whenever I'm shooting my subject, I can use everything handheld, and the movements are very smooth, which was very impressive. So all in all, I would definitely say that the iPhone 15 Plus has an amazing video camera that'll give you some consistently good shots. And just like I said throughout the whole video, it's basically the same as the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And also, here's some extra videos that I was able to get. So here's the final question. What are my honest thoughts after making a switch to the iPhone 15 Plus? Well, I would say that this is the phone that most people should go for. It will literally give you the exact same experience as the iPhone 15 Plus. And since most people don't use a telephoto camera, don't care about refresh rates, and don't want to spend over $1,000 for a new phone, the iPhone 15 Plus is the clear option to me. But there it is, you guys. My review on the iPhone 15 Plus. Now let me know down in the comments. Would you buy the iPhone 15 Plus or Pro Max? And whichever one you choose, why? And again, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace.